What's up, guys? Edward here, Old Place Outdoors, and just want to jump back in here today and talk to you a little bit more about calling turkeys with the mouth call. And so before we get going, I do want to encourage you to go ahead and hit that subscribe button right now. That way you can get all the content that I'm going to be putting out there. Spring season here in Virginia is well underway. We got about a little less than 2 weeks left here, and a lot of your southern states have started to close up already. And it's been a great season all the way from Youth Day all the way to, just this past Saturday. Punched my last tag Saturday with a great time and a great hunt, and was pinned down, had a hen kind of run in on top of me almost, and she was back kind of milling off to my right, and I couldn't really see where she was as the tom was approaching. And so pinned down pretty hard and already had the gun up and couldn't move my hand over to get to my camera and click it on and start making adjustments. And so had to make the decision of take the shot or get the video, and I chose to go ahead and punch that tag. So anyways, all that said though, it was a great time, and I do plan to tomorrow. I got eyes on another tom that I kind of know what he's been doing. I'm gonna get my youngest daughter out there, and hopefully we can if he keeps doing what he's been doing, then maybe tomorrow we can get her to punch one of her tags. So all that said though, been a great season, and got a few more states lined up. So got a little bit more hunting down the line, and about a month left for me, give or take, a little less than a month now with some of my destinations. But anyways, today we're going to be talking about a very important call that I think a lot of people should understand, and especially with the mouth call. It's it's the fighting purr, and kind of talked about it a little bit before when we talked about soft calling and doing the purrs and the whines and clucks and stuff. And by no means is the fighting purr a passive or soft call, but it is part of the purr, and it's basically an aggressive tone of it. And a little bit about why we would use a fighting purr first is I'll give you a quick story, and then we'll kind of put it together. But in this particular scenario, I was hunting in Appomattox, Virginia, which is the kind of southern central part of the state, Lee's Retreat area, beautiful country, and hunting with a friend of mine. And we had showed up that morning with the intention of just two of us hunt, and another fella showed up and wanted to go out with us. And so the three of us went out that morning. It was just a postcard morning, beautiful setup, just a little rolling hill in the middle of these like foothill type mountain area, and little hayfield, and birds were just jamming that morning. And we set up on this old fence row with a lot of good cedar trees for cover, and we were 15-20 yards apart along this fence row. Bird was answering everything I did, and I couldn't ask for a better scenario. And wasn't long after daybreak, he pitched down, started making his way to us, and he came up, did his little dance, probably in, I don't know, 30 yards from us. And while he's doing that, we're all sitting there like, well, somebody better shoot this bird, because, we're all kind of hunkered down, like wondering who's going to do it. We didn't establish that before we got going. And so my buddy Mike shoots, boom, and bird starts flopping. But as soon as that shot rang out, in my peripheral vision, I noticed over in the distance, I just barely had seen like a little speck of white pop up. And what it was, I knew right away what it was, and I motioned to him to sit down. I said, y'all stay seated. And I instantly erupted in these fighting purrs, because that triggered that response from those birds, and two more birds came in and started trying to attack this down bird, like you've probably seen on some videos. And so when they did that, we were able to deliver, and we took 3 birds out of there that morning. So we basically wound up with a triple with the 3 of us, and it was a great morning. And the fella that was hunting with us, I'll tell you real quick too, I remember him saying, he made a remark about the calling and whatnot, and I told him, I said, look, man, I said, in all my years of turkey hunting, that has so rarely happened. And I don't, because he made the comment that this turkey hunting was easy, and he was joking about it, of course. But, it's just funny, because I said, in all my years, I'd never seen, that scenario get to play out like that. And I was glad that I intuitively was able to just jump into it and throw them calls out there. And, you know, but I told him, I said, you know, you just don't see that every time. And I think it was like his first like true turkey hunt anyway. So, but great morning, great memory, and a great story to share with you about why the fighting purr is important. Because, like, let's say that you're hunting in a state where you can kill 2 birds in one sitting, or if you're hunting with a buddy and you know where 2 gobblers are at, and you know, if a shot is missed, oftentimes you can use that fighting purr to trigger that maybe other tom to come back. Done that several times. And even in a Hail Mary or a last ditch effort, say if you miss a tom and it's a clean miss and he's not like, you know, kind of in flight mode or trying to, you know, exodus mode, trying to get out of town, then you might can just slow him down just enough. If you, again, if it's a clean miss, you might get his attention, because, you know, when that shot rings out, oftentimes they don't know what it was. And, you know, if it was a clean miss, then you might can make him pause just for a moment to see what was going on, and then maybe beat up on him again. But more often than not, usually when, you know, if you've hunted them long enough, you know that, like, when you miss, it's oftentimes really hard to square up and deliver a second shot. So not saying it can't happen, but anyways, so the fighting purr, though, again, is an aggressive call that's used to get the attention of turkeys in general. Hens will oftentimes respond even to fighting purrs, because, you know, again, they've established this pecking order, and you're kind of triggering their dominance, whether it's a hen or a gobbler. And oftentimes they're going to come and, you know, check it out. I don't recommend just on a, you know, an afternoon set or mid-morning or whatnot, just starting to do random fighting purrs. But just knowing intuitively when to do those things, like maybe if the gobblers are going away and you know, you've tried everything and they're kind of, you know, there's a couple of them, maybe you can try some fighting purrs and see if you can turn them, just to get them to come and take a little peek. But so more about the mechanics of it. You can do the fighting purr, of course, with the mouth call. That's what we're going to be focusing on with this video. And also another good option is is a slate call. You can produce some really good fighting purrs with those. But because of the strategy that you often want to deploy with a fighting purr, the mouth call is the best option, in my opinion. And so because, again, if you miss, then it's already in your mouth and you can just like instantly like roll into it. So just like the purr, though, we're using air, forcing it over the reed, and we're rattling that tongue. And, you know, not a lot of motion in the jaw, but just rattling that tongue, and maybe even putting your lips into it a little bit more to give it a little bit more rattle and chop to it, but just creating that. And so let me just demonstrate the sound of it real quick. And you'll hear that I throw some like little sharp cuts in there, like kind of like popping type cuts. And oftentimes when I'm doing this, if I've got a wing, or if I do it like just kind of sporadically, I'm not going to take time to take my wing out of my vest, but I might pop the ground a little bit to make that thumping sound, like there's truly a fight going on. But real quick on the sound, or to produce it, this is how it sounds. And all I'm doing is just taking and pushing air across that reed and making that sharp, like much louder rattle. And it's like, and I'm really depending on my tongue to produce that rattle. It's just more or less, I'm just fluttering that tongue under it as I'm pushing air across that reed and getting that first sound that I would rely on for the yelp. I'm just basically then taking and just chopping that tongue right up under it, and that right there, again, is just it's a strategic call that you would want to use to maybe turn a gobbler back or get him to come back. If, say, you know, I got a video just from last season that you could go and find, where me and a buddy were hunting, and as I saw these gobblers approaching, I told him, I said, all right, get ready. And he said, I don't even have my gun down. It was laying down in the dirt. And I said, well, you better get ready, because they were at that point 25 yards away. And of course, when they rounded the little area where we had some shooting lanes, he was still trying to get his gun affixed. And I, you know, had to do what I had to do, you know what I'm saying? So I shot my bird, but I had already told him, I said, just sit tight. And, you know, before the game started, so to speak, I told him, I said, you know, if something like that were to happen, you know, and all that said, though, the gobbler did. He stopped, you know, he started trying to get out of town before my buddy took the shot, and the gobbler stopped, gave him a clean shot, and he still fluked it. I think he shot like 3 rounds of TSS, still trying to get him. And, you know, again, after that, it was like, you're not gonna, you can do fighting purrs all you want, and you're not gonna pull them back in. But that said, it did offer that one more opportunity for him to have made that shot, and he still fluked it. But you know, again, if it would have worked, or if he would have done his part, it would have been said and done. So just one more time on the fighting purr. Again, this is just a, you know, a call that I run. That's a very versatile call, and in those type of moments, the accuracy or the detailed, you know, perfect sound of the fighting purr, I don't think is going to be ultimately important. But you know, a good call for this is one with some rasp, one that maybe you can cut with well. And you know, this is just the V cut that I make, the head crusher, and I can produce a very, you know, accurate fighting purr for those moments. And just one more time on it, though. So that's pretty much it. Just like some really sharp, loud, aggressive purrs, and just rattle that tongue. And be working on that one, because again, it's not one that you might go, you know, half of a turkey season or a whole turkey season and never need to do a fighting purr. But in those moments where you need to use a fighting purr, I'm telling you, it's one you're gonna want to know, because just like with some of those scenarios I just told you about, if you can deploy that call and turn that gobbler just for a moment to get his attention, whether, you know, maybe it was a clean miss, or you're trying to get a second hunter on a shot, then that right there is the call that's going to afford you that opportunity. So be working on all those calls, and y'all drop me a comment below and let me know what you think about this video. Let me know about how your season's going, and if you got any questions, of course, I love getting right on top of those. And again, stay tuned with me, because I got a couple more, 3 more states that I'm going to be hitting up. So I got some more turkey hunts lined up, and going to be trying to collect some more content to share with you guys, and you know, just putting stuff out there and trying to make us all better turkey hunters. So you guys stay safe out there, and be working on these calls, because it is time. And I tell you what, late season, they are still gobbling. So don't give up yet. Get out there and get your gobbler. All right, you guys have a good one.